Do you want to lead a profitable advertising strategy rather than micromanage it? Do you want to take the guesswork out of PPC or expand your advertising in other countries and languages? Then you're in the right place. At Databrill, our team of technical marketers and data scientists have poured years of experience into building the most powerful international automation tools for Amazon-sponsored ads. Our tools can handle large accounts with thousands of ad campaigns and millions of keywords across many languages. The total result is increased sales and reduced ACOS. And in contrast to most agencies, our pricing is based on an inexpensive flat rate. So get in touch today. Visit sellersessions.com/agency for more details.
Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Again, we bring back Will Tjernlund. How are you doing, Will?
Doing great.
Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about licensing deals. Will's got a brand called Bad Boy. Is that right?
Yes.
So let's break this down. So tell us about how it came about, and then we'll walk through the technicalities of the deal.
So it's kind of actually a weird kind of long, lengthy story. So I'll start at the very beginning. I've been a UFC and MMA fan for like a decade now, at least. I watch every fight. Can't get enough of it, travel around the world, going to the fights, just love every bit of it. And one of the most kind of old school brands that's been around for 30 some years in the MMA niche is this brand called Bad Boy. They used to be a surf company, and then they kind of transitioned into MMA and UFC over time. And so my brother and I were contacted about 2 years ago by a private equity firm saying, hey, we want to buy up a bunch of Amazon businesses. We want to put them all under one roof, make them super lean, and grow them with the cash we have. And we were like, all right, sounds good. It sounds interesting. Let's hear more. And one of the first companies they threw our way was this company called Bad Boy. They're saying, hey, yeah, this brand might be for sale. We'll see. What do you think about it? And I instantly knew exactly who Bad Boy was. I knew all the fighters they sponsored. I knew the whole history of them. I knew how their business was going. I had sold their competitors, Hayabusa, in the past. And so I knew the MMA niche like very well. And so I kind of threw this private equity guy off guard because it was like, oh, I'm weirdly an expert in this company. We talked to him. The private equity firm was kind of shady and it just didn't work out. And so we said, okay, no big deal. 2 years fast forward, I get a call out of the blue saying, hey, this is CEO of Bad Boy. What would you think about running Bad Boy brands in North America? And I'm like, oh, weird. This guy has no idea I was part of the private equity firm that we tried to buy him out earlier.
They've probably gone online, looked up Amazon expert. You've come up the top of the search results, and they've reached out to you.
100%. They said, hey, we see Amazon's going crazy. We think our wholesale accounts aren't really ordering as much as they used to. Obviously, that's where the world's going. We want someone with a Amazon focus first. So they kind of give me the pitch, and then I have to explain to this guy, the CEO, again, I'm an MMA fan. Like, I know exactly who you guys are. I know everything about your brand, everything. So, like, this is weirdly kind of a best fit you could ever have, where it's like you want someone with Amazon, you want someone with warehouse space, you want someone who can manage it, and like, it's a bonus cherry on top that, like, I actually am passionate about the brand. So I said, yeah, this actually sounds pretty interesting. I most likely want to bring my business partner, Reed, and my brother in on this to kind of help me out and help manage it. How about we fly out to San Diego and meet up and kind of flesh out this deal? And so the way it works is this Bad Boy company owns the name Bad Boy, and they own the name Bad Girl on basically anything you want to put it on. So they've like had to get into like litigation with like P. Diddy in the past.
I was going to say about P. Diddy, yeah.
Yeah, and they won. So he licensed the Bad Boy name when he sells like their T-shirts at like concerts from them.
Gotcha.
And so they have a different licensee in like I think like 30 or 40 different countries, and some of them in like the South Africa one and the Australia one do super well. The South African one and the Australian ones like sell their stuff into big box stores mostly, and they do very, very well. The Japanese one's a big one. The Brazilian one they say is like a big one, and then they have a bunch of small ones like Czech Republic or Russia or that kind of stuff. And so they were looking for one for the U.S. and Canada. And so that's kind of my jurisdiction, is I can only sell in those areas. But it's a pretty sweet deal because they've built this great brand over the years. I buy, say, for example, these aren't real numbers, but for example, I buy a pair of boxing gloves for $10 from Pakistan. They get marked up to $11.50 to pay Bad Boy their licensing fee
Hmm.
for owning the brand. And then from there, I can do whatever I want with it. So I'm running their website. We have control of their social media. We have control of their wholesale accounts and their Amazon. And so it's kind of a totally different thing to inherit a brand. We've had to launch 2,400 SKUs in the last 2-3 months. We've had start kind of relaunch their store. They had a Magneto store, and it was very difficult to deal with. And so we moved that over to Shopify. We set up the inventory management system to make sure those Shopify orders are fulfilled by Amazon automatically. And we've just kind of been doing a lot of stuff in the weeds, kind of just building kind of this whole entire thing from scratch again.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, Danny, I'll kind of let you interrupt me and let me
Yeah,
know
no,
where
I
you
was
want
letting
more
you roll.
clarification.
I was letting you roll, but I want to break down the licensing process. So from what I'm hearing, if I break this out a bit, you have a nominated manufacturing plant in China somewhere, part of the licensing deal, because you said that you controlling the manufacturing, but you used a dedicated factory that is allocated by the licensing.
So yes,
Yeah,
the licensee, they had a different licensee before us,
yeah,
and the licensee passed down the contacts basically of who they're using in the past.
right,
And so they're a little bit more hands-on in the US than they are in the other demographics, since they're from the US. And so they actually in the past have like hired an R&D team to like make the best boxing glove they possibly can, and then shop it around to manufacturers and then get it made and then tell their licensees, hey, here's where the Bad Boy gloves come from. Here's the guy you need to talk to. Here's who you order from.
yeah. These are the MOQs. This is the
Yeah,
unique license.
these are the MRQs. Hey, this guy doesn't mind if you pay late. Hey, this guy is really touchy about if you don't pay on time. That kind of stuff, and try to pass on the relationships to us. And so if I said, hey, I think I can hire an engineer to design an even better glove and source it for even better price, the brand would be say, yeah, sounds good. Go do whatever you want.
Cool. And then obviously they'll confirm back with the management team or above to confirm whether that deal can go through. So let's talk a bit more about the infrastructure of the licensing deal. So we now know that you're pretty much in control of manufacturing, distribution, obviously shipping, logistics. Do they assign their own shipping to the deal as well to make your life easier, or do you have your own shipping company that you use?
So we're using a Flexport and kind of going through that right now. But they had that like 3 people on staff that were kind of like on their way out to go retire or
Hmm.
do something else, and they kind of assisted us like the first month with
Yeah.
we luckily took over the brand right as they were launching, luckily or unluckily, right as they were launching like a whole entire new line of t-shirts, boxing gloves, shin guards, everything. And so instead of them sending those to wherever they normally sent them, they rerouted them to our warehouse here in Minnesota.
Gotcha.
And so we got to kind of launch everything from scratch. And so we're currently still kind of launching it. We have a MailChimp account. We have each product into different categories and have a different email already created for each category. And so once a week, we're sending them to our Amazon listings through our MailChimp for the different categories, saying, hey, now Bad Boy is introducing the 2018 version of the Muay Thai shin guards.
Yeah.
I am now what you can. They're available here on Amazon.
Cool. And how are you working? Because obviously there's been an increase in fees and long-term storage and stuff like that. Not saying that a brand of that side would have any problem getting rid of any stock, but how are you shipping? Because obviously you and your brother have got a big infrastructure. You have done for years. You've got factory space. Not every Amazon seller is going to be in the same position. Are you doing fulfilled by a merchant, or are you still doing FBA, or mix of the two, sending in on velocity? How's it working?
So we definitely could not send in everything we have, or else we would for sure get long-term storage fees.
Yeah.
There would be random pairs of the pink extra, extra, extra large gloves that would just never sell and just sit there forever. So
Yeah.
we kind of have like a very large mix. And so when I say 2,400 SKUs, that's because a lot of them come in 5 sizes and 5 colors.
Yeah.
And so we sent in like somewhere between, say, 5 and 10 units of everything. but we might have 5 to 10 units still back here in the office next door. And we're kind of just monitoring it to see, okay, what sells, and we're sending in more when we can. And so we're trying to get everything out of here and into Amazon's fulfillment center, but we definitely have to hold a decent amount of inventory. We probably have
200 grand worth of stock on hand?
No. We've spent total 160 grand.
Right. Okay. That's quite
and we sold
big chunk of change there. But you've also got the infrastructure because you've got the office space in the agency. You've got your brother's set up, or is it the family setup? Not sure.
It's we haven't really used that though for this because it would just complicate things.
Gotcha.
So it's all been done out of our warehouse. But yeah, we have his infrastructure if we really needed it, if we needed overflow space or something like that. But no, we've done too. Like the first couple months, we've been doing between 20 and 30 grand a month on sales on Amazon only. Yeah. So like that 160 moves fairly quickly.
And what were you doing? Were the SKUs already up on Amazon, or did you have to ingest and set up yourself?
Reed's still dealing with this. Like half of them are up, but they're set up wrong. With the wrong UPC. And so Reed has this crazy, Reed, my business partner, he has this crazy spreadsheet with every one of the 2,400 SKUs. What's the link to Amazon? Is the SKU correlated with the UPC correctly? What's the landed price? What's the actual price? What's our link on eBay? What's our link on Shopify? All that type of stuff. And so organizing all these SKUs has been like the hardest part by far because there's so many weird anomalies. There's so many things where, no, this SKU starts with BB00. All of them start with BB00, and this one only has 10. How did that happen? Yeah. And so it's like, okay, go and figure that, edit it, change it, all that type of stuff. And so we're slowly but surely, now we're 2 months full time into it, and we're about getting everything perfect this last week.
So would you say you're doing the 80-20 rule? You take what you think is the best performers in the most relevant colors and sizes. Example, you're not in the rush to put up XXXL of a size gloves that are pink or whatever. You're more inclined to put the more traditional standard colors and sizes for hands up on Amazon first, and then start to work through the longer tail of the SKUs.
So yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Everything in the warehouse next door is all like very obscure stocks. We have a whole pile of SKU listings that still need to be created, and it's all like XXL track pants. And so if we have 2 pairs of them to set up the listing, send it into Amazon, it most likely won't sell, and we just wasted a bunch of time. We're kind of just keeping that stuff to the end. Hopefully we can give it away to charity or just give it away to a fighter who needs it or something like that, because selling it does not seem like a reasonable option anymore.
Gotcha. So in terms of contractual structure of the deal, you don't have to give away any of the personal details, but what does a contract of this ilk look like? I mean, what kind of terms go in there? Obviously there's agreement. We know it's a licensing deal. What are the kind of standard terms of a licensing deal? What do the license deal, the do's and don'ts and stuff contain?
So ours is actually fairly simple. It's like we pay a certain percentage on the like manufacturer's cost as a licensing fee. So it's not on the retail cost, on the manufacturing cost. So it's fairly cheap. On top of that, our contract lasts for 3 years. I'm not sure how common that is. Mm-hmm. But they said like the licensees they have in Japan and Brazil, they've had for 25 years each. Yeah. So this 3 years is like a very like trial for them because they're in for the long haul. So ours is 3 years. If we hit certain numbers, they cannot just automatically terminate us. Yeah. So I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but if we hit certain sales numbers, year 1, year 2, year 3, they automatically have to kind of like renew our contract. And then after year 3, then we can decide, okay, do we want to sign a 5-year contract? How do we want to do the goals? The one stipulation in ours is that we have to come out with like 12 t-shirt designs a year. Yeah.
All right. So designs off your own back is part of it to develop the brand that you're responsible to come up. Carry on innovating the brand. So that's good.
Exactly. And so, yeah, we went on like 99 designs, got like 50 different t-shirts to choose from, sent it over to the bad boy guys saying, hey, what do you think of this? And they said like 2 of them are like salvageable. Yeah. So it's going to take us a little bit to get the 12 t-shirts that are actually like good quality, fancy, all that kind of stuff. They have a great manufacturer already and stuff that's already in Southern California, so the lead times and MOQs are real small.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we see in our warehouse, we got a bunch of random T-shirts from all sorts of stuff because they're always going after weird niches. Or if you remember, back in like the early aughts, like 2008, 2009, the like Affliction Bejeweled T-shirts were really big.
Mm-hmm.
And like the big tap out T-shirts and stuff. And so you can kind of see how if we have any of the kind of old inventory from that period, it's like almost impossible to sell now because it's like very like dated.
Off trend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Off trend. So what are some other, in terms of the contract, so people are going to negotiate a deal, they're going to have a threshold of what certain targets generally you want to meet because there's got to be a minimum spec to make it worthwhile for them as a brand to not lose out. What about, like you mentioned about main list, do you actually inherit previous licensing partners list as well that's been built up over time and you get to work with those? So
those are always owned by the brand technically.
Yeah.
And so, they pass it on. And so the Facebook fan page, I think, has like 120,000 likes. Instagram account has like 20,000. The newsletter has like 24,000. And then we just recently, this first week, this is the first week, but we started sponsoring an MMA podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sponsor like the heavyweight champion of the world in UFC. He's a bad boy fighter. So there's a bunch of UFC fighters that are bad boy fighters, Bellator champions, a bunch of Bellator guys, if you guys know what that is, are bad boy fighters. But then, so now it's kind of doing the off Amazon marketing is what we're focusing on now, kind of the automation and the everything else set up. And this is definitely not my expertise. If you guys have heard me talk in the past, I'm all about just trying to sell widgets buy them for $1, sell them for $5. I don't really care what they are. And so the only way I can actually get into this whole thing is because I'm actually like really into MMA. If I wasn't into it, I wouldn't have any idea how to market to these kind of fans. But I know where the fans hang out. I know where the true fans kind of congregate. And so we're going to start running a decent amount of ads on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of MMA fans on the Reddit MMA, and that's kind of not a usual place Amazon people try to send kind of traffic from. Another thing, we're going to go crazy on these podcasts. I want to be on the MMA podcast. I want to be like the Me Undies.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Blue Apron, or one of those kind of companies where like every podcast you listen to, you hear their ads over and over and over again. You go, yeah, I get it, okay?
Well,
so
you've got people like Joe Rogan, who's, because he used to be a commentator, didn't he, back in the day?
Yeah. But he still is.
Yeah, he's still a commentator, and he's got a big audience, and Joey Diaz and people like that are, so there's plenty of scope there for reaching to new audiences.
Oh, yeah. And then I've been going after MMA-specific podcasts where they might get 5,000 listeners an episode, but we can get our names shot out at the top of the podcast every week because we sent them a free hoodie.
Yeah.
Or there's other ones I was listening to that gets 20,000 listeners each week, and it's $50 an episode.
That's cool. Yes.
And so it's like if you can sit there and you have a sub niche, say you're into yoga products, and you actually can find 20 different yoga podcasts, that's a pretty sweet thing. To sponsor Joe Rogan, I think it might cost like $80,000 an episode or something like that. But no, he's got all of his cronies and all the MMA ones and all that type of stuff. It's definitely something that's worth our time. Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight champion who's sponsored by Bad Boy, he was just on Joe Rogan podcast himself. So we kind of get to be on there, but in a not direct way.
Subliminal.
Yeah.
So to wrap on this area here, so we've gone through all your licensing structure and everything else. Like, not everyone is yourself and get like inbound inquiries. You might be an Amazon seller that's not, say, in the public eye and stuff. So how would someone from that side of the table be able to reach out to get licensing deals in place, and, for instance, for people to take them seriously? Because they're going to be cold calling, whereas yours was an inbound inquiry. I know it was like a small world, but your guy reached out, didn't he? So he's sourced you, and you just happen to love, MMA.
So something I didn't even know existed until I started talking to these guys, is that there is licensing trade shows.
Right. Okay.
And that seems like the place to go.
Yeah.
Because then they got a bunch of brands there. You can kind of decide, pick and choose what you want talking to them. And then you can kind of discover, okay, I'm interested in this niche, or I think this niche could grow more, or after looking at these guys, I see that their Amazon presence is terrible. So if I can just get that part down, all the rest of their business will kind of just continue going as well as it has been. So
Great.
you come to a lot of these licensees with the point of view and the kind of lens that, like, you're the future, you understand e-commerce, you understand Amazon. That's probably a pitch they don't get as often as you probably think.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably still getting pitched from brick and mortar stores and those types of people and just traditional distributors.
Yeah.
I think like the people who run Bad Boy in Japan also run 100 other apparel brands that they have licensees to. And they're like this mega corporation. And so they might get a kick out of that. You're kind of a young, scrappy, or now one person band, that you're kind of you're a person of the future, and that you can automate things, and that you know technology and that type of stuff, which may not be kind of as common in their niche.
So you just pointed out a good thing there. So in order to segment what is yours in the North America, you're on Amazon, and you also got a Shopify store. So do you have the overall rights for sales across the board, or is mum and pups out of the game? Big box is under another distribution?
Nope, I have everything. I would be the person who would send it to the big box.
Right. Okay. And so does that give you an opportunity to, I know you're busy now, but does it give you an opportunity with such a big brand, esteemed brand that's recognized, is got a lot of years behind you? Will this be easier to break bread with the brick and mortar, do you think?
Yeah, it's been easy to break bread for sure with like eBay. We got all these sweetheart deals. They're cutting all these fees for us. They're giving us all these kind of extra stuff. And so been eBay, it's been great. I am setting up. I'm playing phone tag with him right now. I've left a voicemail. He left a voicemail. I just left a voicemail last night. With a guy from Costco, and see if we can get in kind of those kind of stores and see if we can get even like a sample of. We got a bunch of different like elbow kind of a compression things and like ankle compression and all that type of stuff. We also could go into a bunch of these private label niches that people hadn't gone into in the past because they're too competitive. But since we have a real brand, we actually could sell like a foam roller and actually have some decent success. Recently we came out with a soap that's for people, and it's basically just to make sure that Bad Boy is covered over all of the like home and beauty products for their trademark. But the soap, we're selling it. It's people are buying it, so
there's a big advantage there. Like compared to, we always talk about with private label coming out with unique products in 2018, building the brand. I mean, it's an overused word. Everyone goes, "Yeah, build a brand," but reality is like you got spatulas. You're not really going to build a brand off that alone. There's more work involved. But with having something more established, where you've got association through broadcast television, the internet, you've got players and athletes in this world. There's a lot to play with here in terms of a licensing deal, which could open up far more avenues than just a traditional private label route.
Yeah, the number one kind of gripe I have and pain point I have that kind of annoys me, but there's nothing I can really do about it, is I wish that all of the fighters that we sponsor and kind of give free stuff to were more internet marketing savvy.
Yeah.
If they could all, in conjunction, I could get like all 500 fighters to tweet out the same link at the same time and post the same Instagram. That would be like a combination between all 500 fighters. That would be like almost like 15 million followers.
Yeah.
And just Instagram. And then if I could get them to do it with the email list plus this, and I could get them to do it on like a weekly basis, if they were doing Amazon affiliate links, they'd still get paid for it. I'd still send them free stuff. But if I could get them like all working together as one, it would be amazing. But it's hard enough for me to get them to post like a picture of them wearing a Bad Boy t-shirt because they're busy doing their own life.
Well, and that'd be funny. They're paid to beat the granny out of each other. So thinking's probably not really at the top of their list, is it? And so when it comes to technology, that might be a bit of a struggle. But I imagine they've got managers, but then the managers are going to be savvy and go, well, how much as well?
Well, yeah, they all have managers, and so that's definitely the person to talk to if you want to get into this stuff done, is the manager, because you don't bug the fighter. They got plenty of stuff to deal with. But yeah, no, it's even the manager. Then it's like, okay, manager, please get all of your guys at once. Like, yeah, you'd have to figure out some sort of deal with it, being like, and we'll do an affiliate link, and I'll give you an extra 10% on top of whatever the affiliate link gives you. But I don't think they see the big picture of this at scale. I think they would see with one launch, they get paid an extra $800, and they go, oh yeah, that was kind of cool. Like, thanks, but like what I would want to do is like every Tuesday and Thursday, forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you can put that scale and add an extra $1,600 every week, then all of a sudden, yeah, you're making an extra 70, 80 grand a year just as like for posting a link. Like, that's fairly easy. And these UFC fighters don't get paid like millions of dollars like other pro athletes. So like the $80,000 a year would actually be like a nice little side change. But to get them all in one room, explain them the vision, explain them how all this works, get them on like some sort of like social media scheduler, all that stuff just sounds like it amazing in theory and so much more difficult to actually execute. So just because we have all these connections and we have all of these sponsors and stuff like that doesn't mean we can actually use them to our full capabilities. Yeah,
makes sense. Right, so let's wrap it there. Do you got anything to add finally regarding the licensing and the structure of the deals, or any key points that people should look out for when going towards licensing other people's brands?
Not anything specific, just that I'm just learning a ton about it. Licensing world's a whole different world. They were talking about maybe putting some old school video game characters on some of the bad boy stuff, and they were going to have to license those.
Yeah.
So the licensee was going to have to go license. And so it's crazy how complicated this world can be. And I didn't know that you could make so much money by just owning a name.
Yep.
And licensing it out to people. And so it's kind of this whole thing is kind of opened my mind. And so if you build a sweet brand in the US and you want to get over to Europe, but you don't want to do it, and you don't want to sell your brand, you can maybe even think about licensing it out to someone over in Europe, EU.
Yeah. And to do that is to go to these events which are based for trying to move on your license to different territories.
Well, I was thinking even, or if you own your own private label brand. Mm-hmm. It's going well in the U.S. You're doing $1.2 million a year. You think your brand would do well in UK also. If you can find someone in the UK who's willing to pay you 5% on every unit they sell, but they get to use your supplier, your marketing, your social media you already built, that kind of could be a sweet little deal where you don't have to risk any cash, and you could start creating kind of more cash flow, and then get someone in Japan, Australia, all that type of stuff, and then eventually kind of create your own little licensing empire.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so let's wrap here. What's the best way they can reach you, Will?
GoConsulting.com is my consulting website. WilliamTjernlund@gmail.com is my email. @WTJERN is my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook /Tjernlund. I'm pretty easy to find.
Cool. Thank you for joining me today, Will. Guys, thank you for joining. Don't forget, if this is your first time, hit the subscribe button. We look forward to speaking to you soon.
See you guys.